Some people will tell you it's not a great idea to get in bed with Microsoft, and there may be some truth to that, particularly in the gaming industry where we've seen them purchase up a lot of studios only to see them shut down. But why is this relevant to AI? Well, it turns out that Microsoft are making a competitive language model to directly compete with OpenAI. Clearly, Microsoft don't want all their eggs in one basket, and they know they can go it alone if they really need to. The new AI model is called MAI-1 or MAI-1, MAI-1. It's a new large language module internally led by Mustafa Suleyman, who was the co-founder of Google DeepMind and a former CEO of Inflection. Yes, this dude certainly has an impressive resume, and no doubt Microsoft are going to very much be making use of that. Now, with around 500 billion parameters, MAI-1 aims to bridge the gap between Microsoft's existing Phi 3 Mini and OpenAI's GPT-4, which is reported to have 1 trillion parameters. But as we've seen lately with the release of Llama 3, the number of parameters doesn't necessarily directly correlate to the quality of the model. So it's very possible that Microsoft's MAI-1 could turn out to be better than GPT-4. The project then symbolises Microsoft's desire to diversify its AI portfolio while maintaining a robust partnership with OpenAI. They want to have their cake and eat it. And yes, even if that cake so far has cost a $10 billion investment in OpenAI. Now, what's unusual here is that despite the massive financial stake in OpenAI, Microsoft remains determined to hedge its bets by developing an independent model. Suleyman's leadership and Inflection's influence will be crucial to MAI-1's success, and Microsoft's vast server clusters equipped with NVIDIA's GPUs provide the infrastructure needed for ambitious training. It seems Microsoft do have massive infrastructure now, and they're really throwing it out there and putting it to task for a whole range of different projects. Ultimately, by developing its own model, Microsoft is going to ensure it retains a proprietary edge in AI. And this may turn out to be particularly useful given the potential regulatory scrutiny around OpenAI's partnership. In other words, Microsoft may not necessarily need OpenAI if it really comes down to it, but OpenAI is almost certainly going to continue to need Microsoft. But the way Microsoft want it, they certainly want both. And with the way regulations look to be shaping up, it seems that's very likely that Microsoft are going to be able to achieve this. And it seems both Microsoft and OpenAI are very cautious and very conscious of continuing and developing regulation. But let's not forget that Sam Altman and OpenAI have been pushing for regulation, and some people suspect this is because they want regulatory capture. That is a case where these companies gain advantage and benefits from regulations, and it kind of works against any competition that they may have. Basically, OpenAI would be able to maintain their current leadership. And we're seeing some of this going on right now. As AI-generated content becomes increasingly prevalent, OpenAI has taken steps to improve authenticity and transparency in AI. The company's joined with the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, that's the CTPA, and this is all about making a standardized way to verify the origin of digital media. So what that means is when you see an image like this one, you'll be able to determine whether or not it is an original hand-created by an artist, or whether it was created by an AI, such as DALL-E 3. To that end, OpenAI are going to include tamper-resistant watermarking in both Sora as well as DALL-E 3 as classification tools to track AI-generated content, and it will work across all platforms. There's no mention yet as to whether or not they're going to do this with text, although with text I suspect it will be somewhat harder, as text is generally much easier to restructure and rewrite by hand after it's been generated by AI. All of this is entirely understandable at the moment, with it being an election year in the US as well as at the UK. Misinformation already spreads like the plague, and that's going to need to be dealt with. Ultimately, the way the Microsoft and OpenAI, and indeed the wider industry, are looking at this is that information, and certainly data usage as well, remains a crucial issue as AI reshapes how we interact, work and create. So this has led to yet another task from OpenAI, something called Media Manager. It's a tool that to give content creators direct control over how their works are used in AI training. The tool represents an attempt to balance data availability for AI development with the rights of creators. Though up until this point, we've certainly seen that this is quite an issue because a lot of creators and a lot of artists are not happy that their works are being used to train AI on. OpenAI want to set the future where they are basically working in tandem with artists, so artists will be able to opt out or opt in. In other words, I won't blame anyone for interpreting this as OpenAI trying to gatekeep how AI is trained. In fact, I think it's very clear that OpenAI are not that interested in just making a platform like ChatGPT. Instead, they want to be the foundation upon which future technology is built. And we're seeing a lot of collaborations with this type of thing in mind. For example, they're working with the Khan Academy and Exam Solutions in terms of educations. And in other areas, we're seeing almost weekly OpenAI partnering up with other industry leaders in various different fields. There's obviously a lot of money changing hands here, and it seems pretty clear that both Microsoft and OpenAI are very keenly aware that AI is not just a tool to be used, but rather a platform of foundational principle upon which other technologies can be built. In other words, it's a foundational technology like the arrival of the internet. So it makes sense, right, that we're seeing so many different AI models. And I think a reflection of this is Microsoft's MAI-1 project, as well as the fact that OpenAI are getting in front of various different regulations with their authenticity initiatives. And another way of looking at this is, and I really think what we're seeing here is Microsoft and OpenAI laying a lot of groundwork over the previous few days and the previous weeks for some very big changes that are about to appear on the horizon. Keep an eye out, because I think things are about to change very, very fast, very soon. And just maybe a little part of that is related to the GPT-4 model that we've seen bubbling around a little bit lately. Here's a video talking about that. Why not check it out?